Ariel Helwani in Dallas, just days away now from Strikeforce, Overeem versus Verdum, and we're being joined by the Strikeforce heavyweight champion, Alistair Overeem. And Alistair, it's good to see you again, back in the United States, back fighting for Strikeforce. How does it feel to be back?
It's good to be back, good to see you again. Yeah, it's like I never left. Of course, I was here back in February when my brother fought Ray Cephon. And yeah, I just feel at home here, so all good. I'm relaxed.
I remember after your win over Brett Rogers, so much momentum, it was such a dominant win. Everyone was talking, a lot of buzz about you back here in Strikeforce. Do you feel as though you lost a little bit of that because it's taken over a year for you to come back?
Well, it was not my fault that it took over a year to come back. We tried to put together the fight against Verdum, the winner of the Verdum-Fedor fight. Verdum was injured, needed surgery on his elbow, so he was out. Fedor declined to fight me for the second time. At that point, I decided to compete in the K1 GP because there were no fights for me in Strikeforce. And yeah, I basically did that, and now I'm back.
I don't think I've ever actually heard that. Fedor declined to fight Verdum for the second time. Is that true?
No. Fedor declined to fight me.
Oh, for you.
Because I tried to put together the fight in May when I was fighting Brett Rogers. That was actually basically their idea. Their answer was, we're not going to fight you in May 15. You can fight somebody else, and we're going to fight somebody else.
Why? Why do you think they declined for a second time?
Well, I can't read their mind, but they don't want to fight me, obviously. And yeah, I don't know what's going through their minds. I don't know. I can't give an answer about that. But I tried to put together that fight. We tried hard, challenging them in public, management negotiations, but they really did not want to fight me. First time when I fought Brett Rogers, they did not want to. And the second time, they also did not want to. And that forced me to join to fight in the K1, which I also like to do, and which resulted in the K1 title. So, yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that your title isn't on the line? Does that bother you, or does it not really make a difference?
Well, title's not on the line. That means it's going to be 1 round less or 2 rounds less. But other than that, yeah, it's okay with me, of course. There's nothing for me to gain. And basically, actually, I think I like the idea that there's something new on the line. There is something to gain for me, actually, and that's in the GP title. So I like that idea.
Another title that I know that famous picture of you holding the 3 titles. Now you could add a 4th one, maybe.
Nice picture.
It is a very nice picture.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. So yeah, there is room for another belt. So hopefully, well, we're going to work damn hard, and this Saturday we're going to make it happen, one step closer.
You're obviously on an impressive winning streak, but earlier in your career, you had a few losses. One of them was to Fabricio Verdum. Was this a fight that you always wanted to avenge, a loss to Verdum that you always wanted to rectify? Was this one that always kind of stuck with you?
Definitely, yes.
Why?
Yes. Well, one of these fights that you're not entirely in shape, or actually in bad shape going into the fight. These were one of these fights, and I don't want to look back too much because I'm not the character to do that. And if you didn't bring it up, I wouldn't have brought it up. But going into that fight, I wasn't fit. I just had a surgery. The surgery had a bigger impact on my body, on my conditioning than well, the doctor said I could basically work out I would be back in shape in 1 week, but it took like a month, and then a week later was the fight. So, yeah, it was one of those fights that kept nagging me. And I've been wanting this rematch for a long time. Very happy I got it now. And yeah, it's going to be Showtime Saturday.
They put out some footage on thereem.com, the great documentary series. They filmed you after that fight, and you seem to have taken it very hard. I remember there's a shot of you with your head, and obviously a fighter takes every loss hard, but you were very distraught after the loss. Do you remember how you felt, and will you try to bring that back up to give you that extra fire going into the fight?
No, I got fire by myself. I got enough fire by myself. I don't need to think about that fight or that loss or that emotion. I'm pretty fired up by myself.
Do you think if
It's been like 6 months before I was in the ring or cage, so I'm pretty fired up.
Do you think if he watches that tape now and tries to study it and duplicate the fight over again and look for those same holes, that's a mistake because you're a different fighter?
I think we're both different fighters. I think Fabricio is perfecting himself to be the best grappler in MMA. And I think I've perfected myself to be the best striker in MMA. So it's going to be very interesting how this is going to work out. But yeah, the game plan is ready. My conditioning is optimum. We're ready to go.
Do you believe in cage rust? And if so, do you think that'll be a factor for him? Because he hasn't fought since June of last year, and he only fought for 60-something seconds when he beat Fedor.
Well, ring rust maybe, but he's going to be ready. He's ready. I believe Fabricio is a person who works really hard, and I believe he's going to be ready. And that's exactly how I want it. I want him to be ready. I'm ready. We're going to put on a great show, and may the best man win, and may the fans see a great fight.
What do you think of him saying that he's going to go after your other arm this time and submit you? Is that a challenge?
Yeah, I don't really listen to what he says. His English is not that good anyway. Also, to speak of, Alistair is my son. I still do not know exactly what that means. I still don't. When I think about it, what does it mean?
He called you his son.
Yeah, I don't know what it means.
Do you think that's disrespectful or respectful?
I don't know. If I would call you my son.
Probably disrespectful.
For me, it doesn't mean anything because I don't know what it means. Maybe it's a culture thing or something, but yeah.
Now, this is your first fight since the Strikeforce purchase by Zuffa. Do you sense any difference? Does it feel like it's a different promotion?
Yes. Well, it's the same. Some of the same people, but more people. You can see it's more structured. It's more organized. It's just a tad extra taking care of everything.
We've heard from some of the fighters who had deals where they can do other things that now they can't do them because Zuffa issued new contracts. And you had a deal where you could go and fight K1. Are you not allowed to fight K1 anymore now that Zuffa owns Strikeforce?
Well, my contract states that I can't fight on other promotions, and my contract is my contract.
Right.
Of course,
they haven't given you a new contract.
Right. No, they didn't give me a new contract.
Okay.
So that obviously is going to be a talking point in the negotiations, but we'll deal with that when the time comes.
When are the negotiations, or you don't know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think somewhere after this fight or after the next fight.
Any horse meat in Texas, or no?
I'm not seeing any. No, it's just chicken and beef so far.
Not as good.
But good beef.
Good beef?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Excellent beef.
Prime USDA?
Yeah. I was amazed by it.
Okay, last question, and it's one about, and I know you don't like to talk about this or even put any stock into it, but rankings, right? And I had someone call my show, the MMA Hour, which I heard a rumor that you'll be a guest on next week, but we'll talk about that later. Why is Alistair so low in everyone's rankings? Why don't you have him top 2, top 3? How can you put Brock Lesnar over him, things like that? Do you even look at those rankings? Do you use them as motivation? And do you understand why some people don't have you as high in the rankings because you haven't fought top 10 fighters in the heavyweight division consistently over the last couple of years?
I understand it very well. There is an argument that you could say Alistair is not top 10 or not top 5 because he has not fought this guy and that guy. But I think where the fans get their motivation is that I did fight a lot. I did have a lot of knockouts or submissions. I am the only fighter to hold a major MMA belt and a belt in a major MMA organization as well as the K1 organization. Something that nobody has ever done that before. So there's arguments. There's arguments for both ways, but I can understand that people, don't place me in the top 5, but I also understand when people say, he's a number 1 or number 2 or number 3. But the only way to find out is for those fights to happen, and now that Zuffa has bought Strikeforce, it's one step closer, and we're going to see it coming 2 years. And I'm going to make sure I'm damn ready.
Can't wait for this one. Alistair Overeem returns Saturday night on Showtime against Fabricio Verdum. The Grand Prix continues live here in Dallas. Thanks for the time, Alistair. Good to see you, and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, man.